Amy Lacey. Here's what we're working on for 8 News starting at 5. Today, Henrico Schools is considering a plan to begin class before Labor Day. Our own Josh Landon is following this developing story. Plus, family members react to a double stabbing that left one sister injured and another dead. We'll have the latest. And Central Virginia is making a name for itself as one of the unhealthiest places in the country. A leading nutritionist will stop in to break down her Weight of the Nation report. Join us for these stories and much more today on 8 News from 5 to 6:30.
8 News, Richmond's only station to win the Edward R. Murrow Award for overall excellence in news.
Welcome to 8 News at 5:30. We do begin with breaking news in Richmond. A gas leak shuts down all lanes of Midlothian Turnpike here near German School Road. This is a live look at that scene there. You see that those cars being rerouted at this hour. Businesses also have been evacuated. The gas line was struck by workers in the area. No injuries have been reported. We will keep you updated. Our other top story tonight, New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg is pushing to ban big sugary beverages in that city.
It's an attempt to get a handle on the city's obesity rate. ABC's Diana Perez has the story.
And we looked into this issue and learned that during the past 20 years, there has been a dramatic increase in obesity across the U.S. In fact, more than 1/3 of American adults and 17% of children and adolescents are now obese, according to the CDC. Nearly 42% of America's population, or 30 million more people, will be obese by 2030. The agency predicts that they will pay an additional $549.5 billion for medical care.
Sweet, loving gentleman.
We are now hearing from the girlfriend of the man killed by police for allegedly chewing a man's face in Miami. The woman, who did not want to be identified, says she's stunned by what Rudy Eugene is accused of doing. Police found the 31-year-old man naked next to a partially clothed homeless man Saturday, tearing the flesh right off of his face, they say. Officers are not sure what led to the attack, but say that Eugene may have been high on bath salts. President George W. Bush and former First Lady Laura Bush back at the White House today. They visited their former home for the unveiling of their official White House portraits. The Bushes have largely stayed out of the political spotlight since leaving the White House, but today they relished the attention and even created a few laughs. President Obama has blamed his predecessor for the, quote, messes he inherited, but today he said that the presidency transcends any political differences. A new study by the National Coalition of Anti-Violence shows a spike in murders among the LGBTQ and HIV-positive communities. People of color represent the highest number of victims, making up 87% of the reported hate murders for 2011. Transgender women, youth, and young adults also faced the most severe violence last year. Stacey Fischetti from Safe Harbor is here with more, and you are a volunteer with Virginia's anti-violence campaign. Looking at these findings, is it surprising to you?
Well, I can't say that it's surprising, but of course it's troubling. And the fact that the reported incidents are slightly down, but the severity of the violence that the LGBTQ community is experiencing is increasing, is what is a little bit counterintuitive.
And we actually showed some video there of the documentary Bully. I mean, this has really raised people's eyes and their attention, their awareness that bullying is sort of a minor form of that, and then violence is that extreme. Are there resources available in Virginia if someone is worried for their welfare?
That's a great question. And really the point of releasing a report like this is to raise the visibility and awareness of these issues, because there aren't very many resources available, unfortunately. Now, of course, if people are concerned for their safety, reaching out to law enforcement, for example, might be an option. But with a traditionally oppressed community like the LGBTQ community, that doesn't always feel like a safe option, particularly when you start adding on layers of oppression in communities of color, the immigrant community, and youth and young adults.
And when we were talking about this issue before the show, we were talking a little bit about sort of that legal definition of hate crime, and these aren't necessarily considered hate crimes in all of the states. Tell us a little bit about that disparity.
Correct. Well, in Virginia, for example, our state laws, our state hate crime laws, do not include sexual orientation or gender identity. Now, there is the Matthew Shepard James Byrd Hate Crimes Prevention Act, which is a federal law, and so that captures it in terms of the FBI reporting, but we don't have any state resources. So if there was an assault that happened, for example, it would not, of course there would be a charge, a criminal charge for an assault, but there wouldn't be a way to capture that with our state data collection as a hate crime.
Well, definitely a very, very, I guess, sobering report to hear all of these numbers. Thank you for coming in today and opening our eyes even more.
Thank you.
Juan, let's head over to you.
All right, thanks, Amy. We have some new developments now in breaking news.
Fair skies across the board, 70 at midnight. The problems are going to be tomorrow evening.
All right, thank you, John. Well, it has been 1 year now since this deadly bus crash on I-95. Now, 26 bus operations between New York and Florida are shut down for safety violations. We will explain why.
Puritan Cleaners' 100,000 Meals campaign is underway.
And our own Matt DiNardo talked to students in our area who are helping with donations.
All right, kids, you ready to help me load all this food into the van? Back to you in the studio.
Oh, thanks, Matt. And thanks, kids. They did a great job helping send it back to us. As Matt mentioned, the Puritan Cleaners 100,000 Meals campaign is underway. The program supports the Central Virginia Food Bank. Monetary and food donations can be made at all 13 Puritan locations. A crash ending inside a Minnesota bar when a truck traveling at full speed plowed through the front. The whole thing was caught on tape. John?
All right, here in Central Virginia, great Thursday.
Manhattan's district attorney says it is too soon to say how confident he is that a former stock clerk is the person that killed Etan Pates 33 years ago. He also would not say whether the arrest of Pedro Hernandez clears 2 other men who had been eyed in the case. Hernandez was charged with murder last week after he reportedly confessed to strangling the 6-year-old in 1979. His lawyer says that he is schizophrenic. And you have to take a look at this. It's a typical day at a neighborhood bar in Minnesota until that happened. A truck slammed through the bar there and straight in. The owner's son had to use a bobcat from the parking lot to help freeze some of the patrons who were pinned up against the bar. At least 5 people, including the driver, were taken to the hospital, and 2 of them being treated for serious injuries. Wow, the driver, investigators say, suffered some sort of medical condition just moments before this crash.
That is remarkable.
Police capture a man featured on America's Most Wanted at a local homeless shelter. 34-year-old Omar Kohal had been on the loose since March after investigators say he killed his sister in Brooklyn by beating her to death with the leg of a chair. It's unclear how he made it here to Central Virginia. America's Most Wanted's website says that he is schizophrenic. We have a health alert for you now. Just in time for summer, the FDA approves a new fat reduction treatment offering the benefits of liposuction without surgery. Today, I went inside the treatment room for this Medical Minute. It's called Liposonics, and it promises that in one treatment, over 1 hour, you'll be one size smaller.
It doesn't involve any incisions. It's a no downtime procedure.
Dr. Burton Sundin says this procedure uses technology that's been around a while in a new way, ultrasound.
These ultrasonic waves are more high frequency, so they focus in the fatty layer, and that causes the fat cells to rupture from the energy that they're delivering.
He notes that liposonics is more aggressive than other non-invasive methods of fat reduction, so patients can expect to take pain and anxiety medication before it begins.
People describe it like a little electrical tingling.
It's currently approved to treat stubborn fat deposits on the abdomen and love handles. And patients can expect to see results in about 3 weeks, with the full effect 2 to 3 months down the road. You're probably wondering, how much does it cost? Well, one treatment of liposonics will run you about $2,000 to $3,000. For more information, you can follow a link on the Medical Minute page of WRIC.com.
That is incorrect.
Oh, 6-year-old Lorianne Madison did not make the semifinals at the Scripps National Spelling Bee. Look at her long face. She misspelled Ingluvies by just 1 letter. I'll admit, I don't even know what that is. It's spelled with an I, not an E. Meanwhile, after 2 semifinal rounds, the National Spelling Bee field has been cut to 21 competitors. The final competition will begin tonight at 8 p.m.
Ingluvies is the opposite of out-gluvies, I think.
And then after that, things improve nicely for the weekend into the early part of next week.
Oh, June starting off lovely.
Absolutely. Well, we're ending our newscast in a lovely way. I'm Amy Lacey.
I'm Juan Condi. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tonight.
Of course, we heard quite a bit from the president today, and he even had some humor there, saying he was glad to be in Virginia today because the sun is out. It's been a while since we've seen it here in Virginia.
And we want to talk to you, AJ, about that. We've just been looking at the ocean, and of course, rip currents, a huge thing even after this storm is over. Any updates as far as the evacuation orders or how it's going to get back to business as usual after Earl blows through today?
And AJ, we heard from emergency officials just a bit ago, and they were talking about how people are at their own risk at this point. They're not going to be putting out emergency officials in harm's way for any kind of rescues. You talked about a mass exodus last night. Have you seen any residents still left this morning?
Just into our newsroom, I just got this note from a news director, Lisa Melton. Hanover County called us. They say that they've closed Bell Creek Road at AMF Drive due to a 5-car accident there in Hanover County. So if you are in that area or heading in that area, you know there are some dangerous road conditions. We are back now with a recap of our top stories. Police are warning residents about a possible scam.
Happening right now, the biggest fundraiser of the year for the James Farrier Foundation. It's underway in Short Pump, and 8 News anchor Amy Live is there at Bowling with the Stars. Amy?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, Juan, because I don't know what, is this Richmond or is this more like Pittsburgh on game day? I see more black and gold right here in this crowd than really in the city on that kind of day. But you want to hear from me, you want to hear from the man himself. James Farrier is here. Is it pretty amazing to see your foundation bringing out this kind of crowd in Richmond?
Oh, it's definitely amazing. I definitely appreciate all the support that everybody's giving me and the foundation, and we're just going to have a good time this whole weekend. I want everybody to enjoy themselves, and we're going to get some bowling going on tonight, and hopefully we get a good team. I got a good team.
Oh, it's going to be great. And then tomorrow, too, so many tickets still available for the softball game. The Steelers are playing Richmond Police, and you guys want to win this year.
Yeah, we got our butts kicked last year, and I was very disappointed about that. Hopefully this year we're going to have a better turnout, and we want everybody to come out and support. Bring your family, bring your kids, your wife, your husband, your girlfriends, everybody just come out and support. And you just got to remember that everything we're doing this weekend is for the kids.
Absolutely. Well, James Farrier, you have a busy night ahead of you. Go out, have some fun, and we are all here having a great time. Juan, Christina, we want to send it back to you because there's so much action happening here tonight.